Episode 20 and stand by Nicoletta. Episode 20 and Nicoletta, go. Hurrah! Right, episode 20. Who even knew? Oh, that's broken. Oh, that's good. That's because I threw it around yesterday. Here we go. It's now traditional. Hopefully you'll all get some clarins, or at least if you go into a shop, you'll buy some, or get a tester, because it's like, oh, I tell you what, though, I've got a cut. That is stinging. Hola! Right, I'm just going to move my selection of random friends. Going to show you Steve's cockatoo. There we go. He can just lurk there. Let's move these. What's exciting is after this episode, I'm going to get my shorts on, and I'm going to sort this all out. Because I was doing some work this morning, but now I'm going to get changed. And sort my life out in this shed, so that this can all be much more pleasing on the periphery, because it's upsetting me, so God knows what it's doing to all of you. I can only imagine that fiancée Zoe is off her mind. What's exciting is, however, naturally I have had some emails overnight, and I'm going to relay them to you. Okay, so the first one, I've got to print it out yesterday, but this is from Philippa. Not the love interest of Dwayne, I've been told categorically, apparently. But this is nice. So, dear Julia, not as gushing as the Commodore, but fair enough. I hope you and your family are safe and sane. Well, we're safe, but we're probably not sane. I wanted to thank you for sharing the joy of jigsawing with the world. With the world is probably a little bit of an ambitious phrase, Philippa. Maybe one day, and I'll just show you the noise outside is Matt cutting some tiles. The world. One can only hope. Oh, that is an annoying noise, isn't it? I'm going to carry on, because hopefully the tile's not too long. As the Commodore of Carshalton Beaches may have already pointed out in his correspondence, I was excited to hear of your new venture on the interweb. Lockdown has taken me aback. No, I'm going to read that again. Sorry, lockdown has taken me back in time a century or two and aged me somewhat. So, forgive me when I say that I've occasionally enjoyed spending an evening watching your calming channel whilst cracking on with a bit of crochet. Right, well, I'm going to have to put you immediately in touch with Marie, who's crocheting everything in her Vista, because... Oh, that noise is... That is quite full on, isn't it? I didn't really think this through. Funny that. So you might be able to help Philippa with the excess crocheting of pants that Marie has now got on her list, on her order book. So I might have to immediately put you in touch with her. But that's very pleasing you're doing that. I have never even been able to achieve anything even on a knitting Nancy. No, that's not true. I did achieve a long thin tube of knitted tube. That's it, with a knitting Nancy. And then I never worked out what to do with it next. When I heard my shout out on a previous episode, I was so stunned I dropped a stitch. Well, hopefully you managed to pick it up again, babes. I wanted to ask if you'd considered a range of merch for your growing fan club. Well, 51 of us. I'll have to think what I could get you. Maybe I could get some embroidered patches of Jigsaw, and you can sew them onto your outfits in a kind of 70s, in kind of a 70s fashion. Let me think about that. I hadn't thought of merch, but it's a good idea. Well, I say it's a good idea. I'll probably spend a fortune on it, and nobody will buy it. If so, what would your jigsaw design of choice be? Well, I think it'd have to be a piece of jigsaw with JigJaw in. Leave it with me. I won't have dream catchers and all that shit. I won't have like a JigJaw dream catcher. I'm not going to go down that hippie route. Do you know what I mean? Just because I am throwing everybody back in time and making them do jigsaws, I'm not going to go down that route. But by the same token, a snow globe. who doesn't love a snow globe? Philippa, great question. I'll come back to you about that. She goes on to say, I once gave my granddad a photo puzzle of the family on Brighton Beach. Unfortunately, 2/3 of the 1,500 pieces were of the pebbles. He still doesn't like to talk about it. Well, so basically you traumatised him. Well, a bit like I'm doing here. I'm doing that to quite a few people. Keep up the good work. I have dutifully subscribed now and have given up the crochet. Don't give up the crochet because we need you. It's going to be like the next mission. It's going to be like when everybody sews little hats for children in incubators. Steve's going to need his underpants with the extra support. Maybe you could be in charge of crochet extra support. I'll speak to Marie about it. Right, the Commodore has written loads of bloody questions, hasn't he? He's got even less to do than I have. Right, dearest darling Julia, obviously. I have a quick question. This is one of 3, right? So his quick questions, he must have thought them like boom, 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 and not thought about the next one. As you know, I'm a martyr to fashion. Yes, Commodore, everybody who knows you will absolutely go, of course. To my mind, 2 total fashion faux pas are Crocs and smocks. When worn together or separately, these items are just wrong and in every conceivable way. In episode 19, it looked as though you were wearing a smock. Is that correct? Well, I don't know how to tell you, but today, because it is so hot, I'm wearing quite a floaty dress, which, yes, I think it's the A-line you get upset about. But to be honest with you, you don't want to see me in anything clingy because it isn't pretty. Let me tell you, it's not like looking at some young, gorgeous flibbity-gibbet in something. I am best in A-line, right? And I'm just like, it's just made me laugh actually because Matt said, as a joke, right, last night, well, not as a joke, but he saw this beautiful person on television last night and said, well, she's a poppet. It really made me laugh. He didn't mean it in that sort of, he didn't mean it in a horrible way or, judgy way. He just made me laugh. That whole phrase, she's a poppet. It's a bit like those 1970s, who's the red-headed guy with the moustache? It goes like that. Oh, the landlady of Hove actually will know. I'll come back to it. Yeah. Oh, she's a poppet. So I did wear a spot, but I love them because it's just the ease. When you're wearing those, you feel skinny inside because nothing clings. You just feel like, oh, I feel skinny today, and that's because your clothing is nowhere actually near your body. Right, next one. Sorry, I've had a lot of printing to do. Okay, next one. Dearest darling Julia, just a quick question. Well, then, yeah, you say that, but there are lots of them, aren't there? Do you recall the occasion when an extremely elegant, charismatic and fragrant event producer invited you and Sam to what you thought would be a sophisticated, luxurious riverside experience? Yes, I do. So we were... it was a ship naming event. And we were down at Southampton Docks and we were told that we'd been invited as, I think it was part of the Prince's Trust or something, that we'd been invited to have the meal afterwards, which is really unusual for backstage crew because normally it's like, yeah, thanks a lot, get out, here's a lasagna and chips in your break and get out. So to be invited, they said, bring black tie stuff and we'd love you all to be a part of it. So we told all the stage management, everybody turned up at Southampton with like suitcases and black jackets, all in line, beautiful suit carriers and stuff. And everybody was very excited because we'd been invited to mingle amongst the hoi polloi. Anyway, so we did the event and the ship name, but that was funny in itself because the guy that had been flown over, he was a professional bottle smasher, right? He said he was the best in the business. He was flown over first class from LA, this particular bottle smasher, because when you launch a ship, the smashing of the bottle is crucial because everybody is so... I learned a lot about this. Everybody's so superstitious about cruises that if a bottle of champagne does not smash on a boat when it's named, people cancel cruises. It's worth squillions, right? So this guy was hugely important to everybody. So he was flown over from LA. He insisted on first class, the lot, right? Anyway, I watched him that afternoon. I'm digressing a bit, but it doesn't matter. I watched him all afternoon. I'd never seen anything like it. He got a cherry picker and he was up the side of the ship, and he spent such a long time putting this, because it's like an arm, isn't it? The bottle is attached and then it goes smashed. It's like an arm, a pivot. Anyway, he was welding it on, and he sent a runner out to B&Q to buy some other bits and bobs. And anyway, so God, it took bloody hours. Anyway, so we were rehearsing, and in between, this guy still putting this piece of equipment onto the side of the ship. Anyway, what was absolutely hilarious about it, Commodore, if you remember, is that in actual fact, what he'd done was actually he'd welded himself to the side of this brand new ship. He'd welded the cherry picker erroneously, rather than the arm. He'd actually welded the cherry picker to the ship, and was actually stuck. Well, this was absolutely gold, right? It was hilarious. So then all these angle grinders, and he was at a really awkward part of the ship. So people had to really lean over to try and get him out, because he couldn't go up or down on this cherry picker. And they didn't have another cherry picker on site, because they'd only booked one. And it wasn't easy to get another one. Anyway, so he was stuck there, right? Then angle grinders came, and they had to get so it was angle grinded off of the ship, and then it had to be repainted. The side of the ship where he'd angle grinded himself on had to be repainted, right? Anyway, that's a bit of a sideline. It was hilarious. So on the night when the ship, we did the ceremony, and then they launched the bottle. So I named the ship, and the bottle smash. Said bottle smash, go, and the Magnum just bounced. It didn't smash. It bloody bit. It went bum 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 like that. Anyway, then they tried it again. They hoiked it up, and oh my God, people were freaking out. Anyway, somebody else had a backup bottle on a piece of rope, and they just threw this massive Magnum over, and it smashed, fortunately. And then we could carry on, but the force of this guy with a piece of rope and a Magnum actually dented the ship. Oh my God. Anyway, nobody really cared about that bit, but the bottle was smashed, so they carried on. Anyway, the guy from LA, well, after the first fail, he was out there. Nobody ever saw him again. He was out of there, and I don't think they ever paid him, because he messed up. It was his one job. And if you really big yourself up like that, right, if you claim to be the best bottle smasher in the world and demand a hugely high fee and demand to be first class everywhere, probably best you are the best bottle smasher in the world, isn't it? Probably best. Anyway, so after the event, we all went and got changed, and then it turns out, actual fact, so we're all ready, and we're taking pictures of ourselves on this beautiful ship, and I'd never been on a ship, actually. We were taking pictures, and everybody's looked beautiful, because we normally see each other in, just normal black clothing. So this was a big, it was nice to see everybody dressed up. Anyway, then it turned out, to the embarrassment of the person that invited us, turns out, actually, we weren't invited. There were no seats for us. And there was no food, except on this. So we were led, because we started laughing then hysterically, because it became completely apparent that we were all dressed up literally with nowhere to go, and actually had been told to not go anywhere. We'd actually been told, you're not coming. So we were absolutely humiliated, but found it hilarious, because we knew that we were stuck in an anecdote, right? Maybe a humiliating one, but we knew we were in it. And so we were led round the ship, away from anybody of any importance whatsoever, get out of the sight of everyone, really. And it was essentially like this sort of, imagine a service station buffet, the sort of, where you put your tray round, where you go, you do your tray round, and you end up with like a dry sausage roll or something like that, or a jacket potato that's been there it was like that. But they sat us down. It was completely empty, and somebody had obviously said, Christ, we're a bit of a situation here. We've got, 10 people all dressed up, full finery, lipstick, the lot. And that was just on the boys. We've got all these people who we promised something. So anyway, so these people who were a bit surprised, I think they're used to putting stuff in those revolving glass cases where, like it turns round and there's a dry bit of, Battenberg. It's thematic with my event, is it? So they were told to bring some food out to us on plates, which again seems a bit of a, they were very confused about, because normally people help themselves in this particular one. And it just happened to be like two two people who happened to be in this area. It wasn't even proper staff. It was like, could you pretend to be staff? So we sat down and this person came out and said, you will first be given a trilogy of ham. And they actually, in all seriousness, said a trilogy of ham. And what came round were 3 rolled bits. Have you ever seen Billy Bear ham? It's Billy Bear. It's like, God knows what meat it is, but it's that sort of, it's so processed the meat you could never recognise it from any even DNA testing. It was trilogy of ham. Well, I thought we were going to die laughing and choking at the same time, because this poor person, he had an old tea towel on and sort of draped it over to pretend to be posh. Oh my God, it was. And we're going to get a bit of Jigsaw. I've just seen a bit of. Where's it gone? That's it. I've just seen a load of yellow bits. Oh my God, I'm very pleased, Commodore, you've remembered that, because I think that was just such a laugh, wasn't it? I think being told you're coming, and us getting so excited, us ringing, and actually I think a couple of the boys bought suits, as I recall, actually went and bought black tie suits, and I mean it was. Then we had to sit down and tell everybody actually we were uninvited. And also, because we were on the ship overnight and we weren't allowed off, it was not like we could even go out in South. Mind you, if we turned up in full black tie in Southampton on a Tuesday night, I'm not sure where would have taken us. So, but well remembered, that was hilarious. And when we say Riverside, Southampton Dock is even less salubrious than that. Right, another one from the Commodore. Dearest darling Julia, yeah. I have a quick question. It is generally acknowledged that your husband is a first-class cook. True. In the past, when you arranged social gatherings, Matt catered for your culinary needs. Having viewed your attempt at Battenberg cake in episode 10, I think we can all now see why. If you were to have a true signature dish, what would it be? I am guessing it would not contain mashed potato. That's because of my reference to cooking mash at college yesterday. My true signature dish. Well, Freddie, my son, would laugh because I love beetroot, and anything that I can get beetroot involved in is utter bliss for me. But I can't put everybody through that. I'm good at a spag bol. I am quite a good cook, actually. Even though my Battenberg, I'm quite a good baker generally. That's why the Battenberg threw me, because it was so atrocious. But I knew that also that I created my own comedy gold. I do love anything with mash, and if I'm in a restaurant, I always choose risotto or something with mash. So I'm always in a massive dilemma if there's a risotto and something with mash. My mind is blown. My signature dish, what would I have to say spaghetti bolognese, but that's because I'm not thinking properly. There must be something more exciting that I do. Maybe not. I tell you what, I will not ask Freddie that, because I know what he'll say, and he will wet himself. He'll say something with beetroot and salad cream. But I'm not going to indulge my son in that, because I know how that's going to go. Right, so moving on from the excellence of... I'm going to prop this here, see if my micro falls off. Okay, so the wood pigeon and the ring-collar dove and the call of the lolo, right? Great reviews for that, except from one person. That is fiancée Zoe, where the wood pigeon actually makes her feel angry, actually, just generally angry. However... Bianca, the Canadian who is foraging around central London and just wanted to know that she eats as much granola and wrestles animals as much as Hillary. Anyway, she's been in touch today to say she's been catching up, and she said that the sound of the wood pigeons makes her so angry, and she actually showed me because they're on her roof and she lives in the loft or something, or wherever she is, she's in the loft. And she said that she's had to go into her food cupboard, and she's now got dried beans. I'm just reading out what she said. Dried beans, because she now throws them at the wood pigeons through the skylight. So, and she actually cut herself on a piece of glass because she was so busy throwing them at the glass that she caught the glass. So Zoe, fiancée Zoe and Bianca, you need to speak to each other about whatever issues, but apparently they're driving Bianca up the wall, and she felt she had to message and say it, which has really made me laugh, because there's Liz and I thinking, oh, what a lovely thing that is, how pleasant, and takes us back to our childhood. Meanwhile, people are absolutely trying to kill the things. Oh, just done that. That's pleasing. I don't know where it goes. I've just done it. So yeah, in fact, there's a wood pigeon on the roof here, which is making me laugh. Thank God. I feel a bit nervous about inviting you lot down now. So yes, so she's throwing dried beans. I mean, also, what are dried beans, and why would you have them? That all message. Yeah, why would that be? Why would you have them in your cupboard? Maybe that's why I'm going wrong. Maybe that's why I can only countenance beetroot in a meal. Next thing, okay. So my mother-in-law Jane emailed because yesterday she'd emailed previously and said she had the shock of her life because Ocado. She was topless in the garden. It was really hot. She's got a little courtyard garden, lovely, nice bit of colour, and there's a hanging basket winging its way from Cornwall, but Christ knows where that is. We ordered that. Maybe I've been scammed. Anyway, it's on its way. Anyway, to her surprise, there was a delivery driver came in. Right, she's topless. They screamed. He dropped his aubergines. He left. Anyway, she messaged to say that, and she just wanted to clear up a couple of points. She said, first of all, Jew, it wasn't Ocado, it was Iceland, and I'm quoting here. She said, also, I have not had delivery men at the back gate for ages, so it's quite fun. Right, so I'm going to leave that with you, leave that hanging. Would you like to hear that again? She said, and I quote, I've not had delivery men at the back gate for ages, and it was quite fun. So there we are. Fortunately, Matt doesn't really listen to this, so he will never know. But if you do meet my mother-in-law, we can have a little chuckle about that, and Matt will be none the wiser. Talking of Matt, his hair now is getting so long, he sort of runs his hand through it, and he's actually ordered one of those thin sort of hairbands, you know, the sort of ones that footballers had in the 70s. Yeah, he's ordered one of those, so on his bike he's going to look even more spectacular, isn't he? Very tight lycra, long hair and a headband, so look out for him. Nathan, this one, he's emailed. Can you hear that pigeon in the background? So funny. It's like he knows we're talking about it. Nathan's emailed to say that his mother shops in Suzanne's, and she's going to look out for Aggie, right? And as I say, it won't take long to spot her, babes. She's in full national Hungarian dress all of the time. So that's good. I'm just going to turn the page of my notes. Oh, right. Now, I know that in Australia they like a prop, okay? So this is for you, Andrew. They are my Chantenay carrots, grown in Matt's bucket, right, with a hole in. These are I don't know if you can see them. Can you see them? They're not orange yet, but I just wanted to show my carrots off and how I've got three of those. And they look like they're ready. They look to me like they're popping out. Can you see? Anyway, so they're my carrots. Oh, Christ, Emmy. Hang on. And this is even more exciting than my carrots. I had some vouchers for ASOS, right, which I've had since my birthday and haven't got to use them. And last year I had a pair of these bad boys and the sole came off. The whole thing, me, Jem and Liz were in Abu Dhabi Mall and the whole sole came off like a massive flip-flop, right? Anyway, just so you know, I'm a big supporter. I'm a big Dr. Martens super fan, and I had to show you those. They arrived today with Omar, my delivery driver. It's quite taking it out of me. Whew, it's so hot. Right, so I wanted you to see those. Right, how are we getting on with this jigsaw? Right, we've got these fabulous bits over here. I'm actually very excited about doing all this, I have to tell you, because I feel like it's a plan coming together. I mean, there are a lot of people, and I have to remind you, there's still this. I'll get these gloves out of the box. Don't know. I've still got this to do. Okay. Oh, here comes Beth. She's going to ask me something about a whisk. Hi.
Hi.
What do you need to know?
Which one is better cream?
The cream is the white one. Enjoy. She's making shortbread. She loves a bit of shortbread. So she's making shortbread in 28 degrees. Right, big news. We've got a Camembert in the fridge. Every time I open the door, makes me feel absolutely monstrous. And I know people love cheese, but the smell of cheese in the fridge, I had to write it down and I just wondered if anybody else has opinions, because I'm sure they will. That is unacceptable. It's not important or relevant to the world, but it is to me. Another thing that has really got my goats is that if you've got an iPhone and you get the news feed. I look at it in the morning, and for some reason in the news feed it's got like soap. It has soaps as if it's news, like it tells you headlines, but it's something that's happening in a soap, like someone's being murdered, but it's in a soap. So you read it, you think, oh, that's terrible news, and you go, it's a soap. And I want to start a campaign to stop that. Stop that nonsense. It's a soap opera. It should not be in a news feed to give it as if it's real news. And it's got my goat today. It's probably because I'm hot. But I read it today. I thought, I don't want to read about Coronation Street or an Emmerdale line as if these are real people. Do you? Does anybody want to hear that? Does anybody want to read that as if it's actually a genuine headline that it's mixed in with Corona headline, and terrible things that are happening in the world, and then in Emmerdale, like a sheep has fallen down a ravine? Who cares? It's not real. Anyway, that's clearly made my. It's roused me. It's roused me that. I met Mike. Mike, Kimchi Mike, can't stop pushing his kimchi around. I met Mike for a socially distanced dog walk on Sunday. And it was very pleasing, and we kept our distance and stuff. But do you know what the bastard did? He brought his bloody kimchi, didn't he? A jar of it, okay? Because nobody wants to sniff it at home. They can't stand him cracking his jar open and smelling his kimchi. He only bought his kimchi, and I was walking the dog, and he went, oh my God, I was 2 metres away, and I still gagged. Oh, anyway, it serves me right. He had to carry it the whole dog walk. But, what a lunatic. Ugh. I have also noticed that I have started cupping behind my ear a lot to exclude exterior noise if I'm trying to listen. And I think it's my age. It's probably arrived at the same time as snoring did in my life. So yeah, I started cupping, and I had a hearing test, and they said it. Because I got tinnitus, like well bad. So does the landlady of Hove actually. But I can carry on with that. That's all right during the day. But it's not that. It's just that I've noticed in big groups, or if I'm listening to it, I cup my ear, and it sort of works like an ear trumpet. I've got my own ear trumpet. So yeah, I like that. And I just wondered if anybody else does that. Or is it just me that now has such a saggy gullet that I snore the whole time and have to sleep with a whippet, have to sleep with a rescue whippet and cupping my ear. But it might just be me ageing prolifically. Yeah, might just be that, eh? Sarah from Canvey has messaged, and she said, Duke, can I come off the island yet? I went, no, you can't. Stay there. So people of Canvey, I think, are going to have a longer lockdown. So no, Sarah, you stay there. Okay? I'll tell you when you can come off. I'll tell you when you're allowed off. Nicholas, me dear, you dear, that one, still hasn't got a dog. Okay? So, for those of you who said, has Nicholas found a rescue dog yet? No. I mean, I spend a lot of time, I like looking at Dog's Blog, which is a big rescue dog site, and I go, oh, Matt, look at that one. Look at that one, Matt. Can we have that one? No. As I said the other day, Matt is just waiting for the dogs to die, so they stop ruining his grass, and he can have beautiful bowling green grass, and no female dog has weed on it and made him cross. He's waiting for them to die. So the thought that I am secretly looking for a new dog, even though we still have two, I don't think will please him. But we don't need to tell him that yet, and he doesn't listen to this, so that's completely fine. As far as I know, he will never necessarily know until a new one turns up weeing on his new grass. Terrible news, no more sightings of Helen's plum tree. The 3-year-old plum tree has not been seen. There were quite a few sightings around the world, as I said the other week, but no, that stolen plum tree, those bastards got it. It's now growing in someone else's garden. I think Gemma from Wales has taken personal slight and taken this as a personal failure, and she's going to escalate it, Helen, to the Welsh Assembly so that it can go up really high, because Gemma's not going to settle for that. But it still doesn't mean she's found it. So I'm so sorry. And I'm going to leave you with the thought that I am genuinely very, very happy today, because it's a very good drying day. And I find that my pleasure in life, probably again because I'm ageing like a prune in the sun, or a grape in the sun, is that it's a very good drying day. And I woke up and I thought, oh, that is so pleasing because I can have my washing out. And I do have my washing out, and it's just gently blowing Well, it's not even blowing. It's actually drying to a crisp. Freddie has actually complained, could you stop drying the towels on the line? I like them tumble dried. So even with my washing, I'm getting complaints. However, I've covered a lot of random subjects. It still looks completely shit. I am gradually getting there. But main of all, I've lost the ability to speak, but I love you all. I'm going to wave my bracelets. You're lucky that that's all I'm waving. And I'll see you in episode 21. Bye.